Hi there, thanks for joining us for another quick and easy wins for cyber resilience and internet safety. In this video we're going to look at the links, in particular around internet safety and health and well-being. So firstly, I want to look at a definition of internet safety. I've taken these key points from the Scottish Government paper published 2017, and you can see there on the screen it focuses on the rights and responsibilities in the online world, that young people become resilient and equipped to live that life online, and also that they can identify risks for themselves and for their peers. Within internet safety in particular, we look at the risks, the digital footprint and online behaviour, and we've summarised those three behaviours can be thought of as safe, smart and kind. I've picked out these 5 health and wellbeing organisers, and I think that those tie up really well with the safe, smart and kind message that we have around internet safety. So under the first part of this, when we look at mental and emotional wellbeing, we're talking about learners' feelings, how those affect others and how others' feelings and behaviours impact on the learners' thoughts and feelings. That obviously comes under as part of friendships and relationships, so those are all intertwined and joined together. And again, all of those things can affect and impact your mental well-being and the mental well-being of others. So these probably come mostly under the kind part of our safer internet message. And anytime you're talking about being kind and you're dealing with friendships and relationships, there's an element of internet safety to be looked at there, because so much of children and young people's lives is lived online. And so much of all of our lives, and children and young people especially, our social part is lived virtually and online. So whether that's making new friends, it's coming to a new school, or even the learners who are already a part of the school, how they make that a safe and welcoming place. And the matter of fact is, if there are behaviours which are not kind online, those are going to have an impact on the school. And I know lots of schools have got to deal with online incidents that perhaps happen out of school hours. So when we're talking to children and young people about those rights and responsibilities for themselves and for others, and making the school a welcoming, warm place, then we've got to look at their online behaviour as well as part of all of that. Most of that's coming under the kindness, but also around making friends. There's an element of staying safe there as well. When they're making new friends online, they're being sceptical and they're evaluating, who is this person, why do they want to befriend me, is there any risk to me as well. Again, making friends online is quite often used by people who wish to cause harm to children and young people, befriending them in online games and platforms and then grooming them for actual physical harm. So that's something we want to look at as well when we're exploring social wellbeing. When we look at physical well-being and staying safe, and we perhaps think about that in real life, but again, as I've just mentioned about making friends online, it's easier than it's ever been for someone who wishes to cause harm to children and young people to make contact with them, build and develop those relationships with them through online platforms, rather than having to approach them or befriend them in a physical space, which is far riskier. So again, when we're talking about staying safe, we've got to talk to learners about how they make friends and what kind of information they share about themselves online, because that can put them in harm's way. So definitely looking at staying safe as part of our internet safety message there. When we look at planning for choices and changes in the health and wellbeing curriculum, it's probably mostly to do with that personal profile, and we're thinking CV. However, the digital footprint that we are all creating through our actions online is probably going to have an even bigger impact on our future prospects. So well worth looking at examples of even celebrities or people that we perhaps have known in real life, who've suffered in their job or their career prospects, their education prospects, because of something they've said or done online, even if that was a long time ago. So all of our behaviour online is monitored and archived, and it may come up to haunt us at a future point. So really worth talking to your children and young people about being smarter about that online profile that they are curating at the moment and all of the time they're online, and how that might affect any future prospects or ambitions they have. In terms of physical activity and health, the need for sleep and rest is probably an obvious one. We need to take time away from our platforms and devices for our physical and mental health and well-being, and playing games or being on social media to 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning when we're up for school at 7 and 8 is not ideal. But also around physical activity trackers and smartwatches, whatever devices learners might be using. A lot of these are going to store and track your data, and many of them have social aspects to them. So your watch will track how far you ran and then post that to an online platform where you can compare that to other people's routes. Again, it's worth thinking about, is that a safe practice of having your regular running route shared with people online who again may wish to take advantage and cause you harm. So again, for children and young people, should they be sharing their travel data in a social space? That's something to explore there about staying safe online. With relationships, sexual health and parenthood, we've already talked about friendships, and it's very much the same for relationships, about questioning when we start friendships and relationships online, or whether they start in real life and develop into online aspects. We've got to be really careful about whether we share or create pictures and video content that are intimate to us, and what happens when that relationship or friendship ends. Who's still got access to those that media, and is it shared? That could cause us reputational harm that we've already seen, and for a lot of people also a financial harm where people are blackmailed about pictures that perhaps created in a relationship. So lots there about digital aspects, and again, it's not our position to compare and contrast that to lives and friendships and relationships that we've lived, but to be aware that that is a large part of almost all modern relationships, certainly for children and young people, and we are there to support them to develop strategies to manage and cope with those, and not to cast judgment on them, which I'm sure no one would do. Social media has probably had a bigger impact on body image than magazines or TV before it, and again, raising that awareness for children and young people that what they see online is not necessarily the truth. So we talk about body image and mental well-being. We've got to look at those online aspects. That's a very clear and obvious link. When we talk about appropriate behaviours and abuse, again, someone who wishes to cause harm or abuse someone, it's got to be much easier to do that online and remotely rather than having to be in person all of the time. There's probably both aspects to it. It's probably physical and virtual. But what we need to do is support children and young people to recognise when abuse and inappropriate behaviour is happening towards them, and how they can manage that and report it. And that's probably using CEOP. And again, worth understanding and looking at that with your learners. When's the time to use CEOP, and what other steps must they take to report abuse, whether that's in real life or online. And the fact is that it's probably in both places at the same time. And when we talk about rights and responsibilities, we've already spoke about the links to 5 rights from Young Scott, and where that ties in with UNCRC and rights respect in schools. So again, that's relationship, sexual health and parenthood is probably covering all of Safe, Smart and Kind from our internet safety organiser. As ever, we'd love to hear your stories. How are you developing internet safety, and particularly in this case, if you're developing that with health and wellbeing links. So get in touch with us at DigiLearnScott on Twitter, or if you go to the blog and you'll find your experiences, your community in the top right corner. You can submit your own story, a couple of sentences or a paragraph at most, but do let us know how you're developing this area of curriculum in your establishment, and we'd love to feature that on our site for others to learn from. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this has proved useful. Take care.